back here in the summer, late summer, hopefully there'll be more of these. This is called a liatris or a... Yes, Gayfeather, thank you. So, purple flower, stalk. If we were to dig it up, there would be a multi-year growth tuber under it. So the Gayfeathers, they like open fields that are kind of dry, so we got a slant here, so the water doesn't stay here. So this soil here at the top of the hill is going to be drier than the soil down there. There's gravity and so forth. So it likes the drier areas because it produces this big tuber. Year after year, it keeps adding to the size of the tuber. Not in the book, I don't think, again, southern plants. Yeah. So the tuber, so these grow basically from here all the way across the Great Plains up into South Dakota. And it has an interesting use. So I mentioned earlier, tubers are a source of calories. They're starch. So it was a starch food. But the rule was you weren't allowed to eat the tuber of the Gayfeather except in extreme conditions. Because if you think on the prairie, once you get north of the Red River, up through Kansas, Nebraska, and all that, you start getting snow. And these stick up above the snow, so they know where these are. So if the winter is long and they've run out of food, then you're allowed to go and dig up the Gayfeather. They'll basically clear off the snow, build a fire there, roast it in the ground, dig it up, and start eating the tubers. So, just a side note, so I'm from Minnesota. There it was the Ojibwe, was the main Native American tribe, and their rule is you could never kill a porcupine for the same reason. The porcupine is the only animal that a starving human can basically kill with a stick. And so you left the porcupines alone until you absolutely needed to eat them, because then when you were so weak, you still could kill a porcupine. Porcupines taste a little better than these, but...
How large are the tubers?
So the tubers, I'm going to hand that to you for a minute. You don't have to hold it up unless you want. So the tubers, each year they add a bit more. Each year they add about a lemon-sized piece to it. So think one potato on top of more potatoes. Only the most recent year's growth is edible. The ones below that are really hard and woody. Even slow roasting it really doesn't do anything. But they're very, very common, and they'll spread over an area really well. So as far as impacting the environment, ideally you want to grow them yourselves. They sell the Gayfeather, the Latris spica, Latris spica at Home Depot, in these tubers. You just let them grow, and then when we're buried under snow, we can dig them up and eat them. But yeah, very beautiful purple stalk. The butterflies and the bees like it. Very easy to spot once you see it, because it's just a tube of purple. It doesn't get any bigger in diameter than that thing I was holding up, but it will just be this bright purple color.
Doesn't it bald over the season or something? I'll see them and like half of the purple is gone or something.
So it's more that I can't remember if they start at the top and work their way down or start at the bottom and work their way up. But they don't all the flowers don't all bloom at the same time. They kind of bloom in sections down the spike. Yeah. But like goldenrod starts at the top and blooms down. I can't remember if the Gayfeather blooms at the bottom and goes up or not. No.
Does it look similar to horseman?
So horseman, we're actually going to see a little farther down. Horseman grows in clumps, whereas this, it's just a solid tube of purple. Yeah. But the Gayfeather is going to be a slightly darker purple. I was trying to see if does anyone have any purple on of that color. Okay. The tuber, once you see the stalk, because that tuber is growing, technically the tuber is growing when there's green leaves doing photosynthesis, but that tuber is available all year round. So there's always those calories there. Most important in the winter when there's nothing else. It's the main time when it would be. Oh yeah, we got another one right here. There's just, I don't feel like there's enough to dig one up. If we see a good cluster of one, then we'll dig one up. Okay. Well, actually, there's a few here. All right. We had the question about horse mint. So this is the dried horse mint where it forms clusters. There it is. Oops. So it's not Gayfeather. Let me see.
Kind of oregano type smell though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't have much left. The main thing is these clustered balls where they have this calyx underneath, and then a bunch of little tiny tubes. So if you see something that looks like that, smell it. If it smells like oregano, you can still use it like oregano. If it doesn't have any smell, it's too late.